I'll never understand it, man. A holy God, not just allowing, but choosing sinful men to represent him. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like a hypocrite, spitting the gospel and not living it. I got the word in the spirit, it's not like I'm ill-equipped. But sometimes my pride slips and I find my lips quoting the lines and scripts that makes my heart skip. Then I get hit with conviction. Lord, I was tripping, forgive me for missing it. Next time I'ma sit and listen. I've made a lot of apologies for speaking sharply when you simply wanted me to live godly. I'm too quick to point the finger at all of these false teachers, rappers, pastors, and gospel singers. Sometimes I think my rhyme's cool, but I gotta go back and change lines cause I'm off on something doctrinal. But your grace is sufficient when I'm being a chicken out in the streets, not witnessing, I'm still forgiven. It's easy to preach with a mic, but I'm slow of speech like Moses when I'm toe-to-toe in the streets, right? But I can't let it stop me, the word still gotta go forth, and I just gotta drop the hypocrisy. There's no time to stop preaching it, the world and the church are wilding out, somebody's gotta keep speaking it. So I pray that I can present it right, but it starts in the heart and you're the only one I know that can get it right. So I'm patient, the walk is still a fight, and I'ma continue gripping the mic, praying you help me to spit it right. It's time to do something, the Lord is waiting for the saints to pray for more laborers, y'all, so move something. We all need to repent, yo, the world can't see God in the church through the stained glass windows. The house of prayer has become a den of thieves, a circus of false worship mocked by God's enemies. The Pharisee leaven is sin, yo, the world can't see God in the church through the stained glass windows. Stained glass crashing, wrecking balls of passion. Sounds like destruction. Stained glass crashing, wrecking balls of passion. Gotta break down to build up. Sounds like destruction. Stained glass crashing, wrecking balls of passion. Yeah, gotta break down to build up. This ain't a game no more. Satan's putting in mad work with his demons, yo, the church is at war, but while families are headed for hell, greedy, hypocritical Christians keep the word of life to themselves. The church has lost its compassion, they no longer sit with the sinners and content with throwing the cash in a bucket. Let somebody else do it, I ain't got time. Cats caught up in fellowship while the world's dying. The front liners are few, the nurses outnumber the soldiers, 149 to 22. We're too busy converting Christians, bickering over the gift of tongues and dispensationalism. There's no love for the lost. Everybody's praying for revival, but nobody's willing to pay the cost. It's These watchmen are blind, dumb dogs that can't even walk. The lamp's black oil, why should a revival spark? The flames wouldn't sustain. We're too immature to bear children. Years later, only drama would remain. I'm sure the Lord's about to throw up. The church is lukewarm and the children of God need to grow up.
Hello, my name's Steve Caballero and I'm a professional skateboarder. I started skateboarding in 1976 and turned pro in 1980. I've been professional for 27 years. And first off, I just want to say thank you for purchasing your very own Golden Dragon skateboard. Well, now that you have your first Golden Dragon skateboard, I'm going to describe your board's components and show you how to put it together. Alright, well first off we're going to start off with the skateboard. And the skateboard deck is manufactured with high quality maple or birch wood, 7 plies laminated together with waterproof glue. Makes it have really good strength and flex to it. What you have on a board is you have a nose and a tail. To determine what is the nose and what is the tail, the nose is usually longer than the tail. So that's how you can usually tell. You got holes already drilled into the wood so you can mount your trucks onto it. Each skateboard that's built has concave and it has a little rocker. Well, besides the concave and the rocker, which helps keep your foot on the board, we have grip tape that goes on top. And it comes in a sheet which you can peel off the back and stick it right on top of the deck. And the reason why it's called grip tape is because it helps grip your foot onto the deck. Because if you didn't have the grip tape and you try to skateboard without it, your foot will probably slide all over the place. And here we have a truck. And I'm going to explain the different components or parts of a truck. Basically you have the hanger, which you do a lot of the grinding on the edges. And you have the axle where you mount the wheels to, so you can roll. Then you have your kingpin, and you have your bushings on the inside. And the bushings help with the turning. Last but not least, you have the base plate, which everything kind of hooks together and brings the whole truck together. So you got your base plate, you got your bushings, the kingpin that holds the hanger onto the base plate. You got your hanger, the axle, and the nuts that hold the wheels on. Well, what we have here are risers, and what risers do is they go underneath the truck that mounts to the skateboard, like so. They supply a bit of cushion on the truck and actually a little bit more height to the truck. The way we mount the trucks to the skateboard are with nuts and bolts, and you have 8 of them. Each truck has 4. If you've never mounted trucks on a skateboard and you don't know how, just make sure that the kingpins are facing towards each other and that you don't have them facing out of the board because the board won't turn right, or having one face out and one face in. You want both kingpins facing towards each other, towards the middle of the board, like so. The next component we're going to talk about are bearings. And basically bearings help you roll. Each wheel takes 2 bearings. And each bearing, inside of each one, has 7 little balls that are encased in a casing that protect them and help them spin and help them roll freely. You want to make sure that you have nice, good quality bearings so you can have a smoother ride. Well, we just got finished talking about bearings. Now we're going to talk about wheels. The Golden Dragon wheels are made of very high quality urethane, and normally wheels come in different shapes, different hardnesses, and different sizes. Normally the harder the wheel, the faster it is on smoother surfaces. The softer the wheel, the faster it is on rougher surfaces. But basically, you know, there's 4 wheels to a skateboard. They attach like so, and they help you roll. So now that I've explained all the components on a skateboard, let's put it together. All right, Well, here you are. Just got done finishing putting together a Golden Dragon Complete. Now let's go show you how to use it. The first trick I ever learned how to do on a skateboard was balancing on it and pushing. You're probably wondering, which foot do I put on forward? And you got two different stances. You got goofy foot and you got regular foot. You can stand goofy foot, which is your right foot forward, or you can stand regular foot, which is your left foot forward in the direction that you're rolling. Actually, whatever feels comfortable and which way you want to roll determines the stance you are. When I first started skateboarding, I learned how to skate goofy foot, which I placed my right foot on top of the front truck holes and my back foot on the back. And this is a goofy foot stance. The first thing you want to do is learn how to roll and how to push. And basically, you want to put your leading foot on the front of the top bolts. And as you push, put your back foot on the back of the bolts. As you begin your first push, basically right when you get on the skateboard and you put your back foot on, you want to shift your front foot over to the side so you have more balance. Tic-tacs are how to get momentum without pushing and keep your momentum. And it's basically putting pressure on your tail, lifting up the front of your wheels, and kind of shifting your weight forward and back. And that helps you get momentum. I can actually pump off the flat and keep my momentum going without actually pushing. All right, well, now that I've showed you how to stand on your skateboard, the difference between regular foot and goofy foot, and actually how to push, and actually how to tic-tac, we're gonna go to the next level. And next level is basically learning how to ollie. And we're gonna watch a clip of professional skateboarder Danny Wainwright, the world record holder of the highest ollie, is gonna show you how to do it.
What's up? My name's Danny Wainwright, and I'm gonna give you a few pointers on the ollie and the kickflip. You want to start with the ollie. Basically, you want to start with the front foot kind of in the middle of your board, and your back foot, your pushing foot, on the tail, kind of on the end of the tail. And from there, you want to try and just get the feel of, just tapping the tail on the floor and sliding your front foot up to try and bring the board up. Once you get that together, you kind of feel comfortable just popping little ollies, you want to try and hit the tail harder and slide your foot up, and just try and jump more and put more effort into it. It's kind of good with your back foot if you try and tuck your back leg as high as you can to bring the tail up as high as you can, because then you're going to clear whatever you're trying to ollie or whatever, so that's a good way to try and do it. Alright, so just go out and practice that, and happy ollieing. Okay, now we'll go on to the kickflip. It's the same principle as an ollie, so you need to hit the tail down, you kick your leading foot out. You kind of kick it out in the top of the nose and kind of flick it out to the side to make the board spin. Don't kind of just kick it, but you have to drag your foot like an ollie, to get the height, and then flick it out at the top to make it spin, It's got to be a smooth movement. And your back foot, you need to lift your back foot. Just like with the ollie as well, you need to lift it out of the way, just so it's out of the way of the board spinning. And then catch it, and then Bob's your uncle. It's all good. Alright, just keep practicing them too, the ollie and the kickflip.
If you want to get into more advanced tricks on a skateboard, you're basically going to need pads. And if you want to take it to the next level and ride a skate park like this one right here, when you want to drop into the bowls and carve and ride the deep stuff, I really highly recommend wearing pads. This right here, which is called a helmet, and which attaches to your head like so, and basically this is used to protect your head. Another part of your safety equipment is the elbow pad. Normally a lot of pads have some padding to protect you, and then a little plastic cup on the side in case when you fall you kind of just slide. It doesn't stick and slide off. And these are really great, man, to protect your elbows, because first starting out you're gonna fall a lot, because that's just part of skateboarding. And if you know how to fall correctly, you're not going to be afraid to fall, because you're going to know how to. Another part of a safety equipment is the knee pad. which goes on your knees, like so. Has a strap to help hold it onto your knee, and a bottom strap that goes along your calf. They're really good for protecting your knees, and later on I'll show you how to do a knee slide. I've wore pads pretty much all my life when I'm skating deep bowls and I'm skating vert. For one, it protects you and gives you the confidence to progress to the next level, do harder tricks. So I highly recommend wearing pads. Let's go learn how to drop in. Probably one of the first tricks you want to learn when you come to a skate park is actually dropping into one of these uneven surfaces. You notice around the skate park we have a lot of different slopes, transitions, different heights. Basically the easiest part to roll in is probably would be a bank, because you don't have that quick transition and it's not as steep. Just go to your local skate park, find one that has a nice mellow slope. You want to start out with your front foot forward, take one push, and then just drop in. Since your skateboard is going down on an incline, you kind of want to lean forward and keep your shoulders parallel to the steepness of the slope. Another important factor when you're dropping in and rolling in, you want to make sure that your knees are bent to compensate for the transition change as you're hitting the flat. And by keeping your knees bent, you'll be able to go through that transition smoothly. One of the first basic tricks you can learn is called a fakie. You're not doing either a frontside kick turn or a backside kick turn. You're just kind of going straight up and straight back down. Knees bent. And that's a fakie. We're going to show you how to do a backside kick turn. The obstacle I'm going to hit is this bank. So when I go up the bank and come back around, it's going to be with my backs towards the bank. You want to put pressure on your back foot and lift up the front trucks a little bit as you're shifting your shoulders and turning a 180. Going up the bank, spinning your body a 180 and coming back down. And that's basically how you do a kick turn. Now we're going to do a frontside kick turn. Head up towards your obstacle, lift up on your front trucks, put pressure on your back, do a frontside 180 with your front facing the obstacle and then coming back down. Sometimes it's good to use your leading hand and point pretty much which direction you're going, and that will help you maneuver the board around. Now another advanced maneuver is a carve, which basically is almost the same thing as a kick turn, but you basically don't lift your wheels off the ground and you keep them on the surface the whole time. And that's done by putting pressure on your heel edge of your board, which will be used to turn frontside, and using your toe edge, which will be used to carve backside. And here I'm going to show you a frontside carve without lifting up the front wheels and putting pressure on my heel edge. So basically on a backside carve, always keep your knees bent and put pressure on your toes as you're going up towards the obstacle with your back towards the wall. That's how you do a backside carve. Just leading with your front hand will guide you to where your board wants to go. It's cool to learn carves on banks, and then you can advance it to transition. Now I'm going to flow around the park doing carves so you can see how I generate speed and how useful carves are when learning how to. Ever have to lift your front wheels off the ground. And those are frontside and backside carves. Most people learn how to do tricks, but they don't learn the basics of bailing or learning how to fall. One technique that I used was knee sliding. Basically all you do is you just jump to your knees, lean back, and you can get out of a trick without having to run down the wall and trip on your feet or roll your ankle. You just knee slide right out, like so. You know, if you're gonna fall, bail out of trick, and you end up running, you might end up tripping over your board because your board maybe falls in front of you and you step on it and fall. And a safe way to get out of a trick is just jumping to your feet, but going straight to your feet, to your knees. And you can use your knees, actually your legs, to cushion the impact that your knees are going to hit as you fall your knees. So I can go jump my feet to my knees, slide back down, leaning back, toes pointed, and get out of the trick unscathed. And knee sliding really helps when you're actually doing tricks on really steep obstacles that have a lot of vert. You know, there's no way I could ever bail out of a 5-foot air out of a 10-foot bowl and run out of it safely, where using the knee slide I can bail from really big heights and just go right to my knees and slide to safety. I want to say thank you very much for spending this time with me, and if you want to get better at skateboarding, check out this video from Powell Skateboards. It's called Basic Training Plus.
All right, you maggots. This is basic training.
I'm a future primitive, and I skate to live. I am a future primitive, and I skate to live. Hey, welcome to the Blue Tile Lounge. I'm your host, Johnny Rat. Thank you. The Bones Brigade's here tonight. How about that?
I can't figure out where to connect the oscillator.
Just pull that lever.
Hi, I'm Bob Burbanks, and welcome to Weekend Today. We're going to find out on today's show why protein may not be good in your dog's diet. And we're going to take an exciting look at skateboarding. When I was a kid, we used to take an old roller skate apart and nail it on a 2x4. But nowadays, you can walk into a sporting goods store or a drugstore and buy one of these. This is a skateboard.
That's not a skateboard.
Neighborhood daredevils.
We're going to do a little adjusting here.
Right here on Weekend Today.
Now this is a skateboard.
Shove up.
Go back to the skate park.
I skateboard, but I'm an artist. I love art and I love you. Come to me and kiss me, kiss me, kiss me.
My name's Steve Caballero, 31 years old. I've been skating for 18 years. First got sponsored by Powell in 1979. They turned me pro in 1980, and I've been with them ever since then.
Can't you see that it's a fake thing? Can't you see that it will break things? For a start, it will break your heart.
The first board came out in 1980, which had a graphic of a dragon. The reason why I picked a dragon was I've always had a thing for dragons. I think they're cool looking. Plus I was born in 1964, which is the year of the dragon. I guess you could say some of my graphics have been a reflection of my life. One time I picked a dragon on a motorcycle because at that time I was really heavily into collecting British motorcycles. One of my favorite graphics has to be the one of my dog Harley, which is a picture of him chewing up one of my boards.
First thing I remember of Steve is I was about 16, and there was this rumor that was this guy, and we heard that he was going to go to the skate park in San Diego. So this whole crew, we all went down to see him, and we ran into the park really quick, and he was passing us on the sidewalk. His board was like half the size of him at least. He was pedaling like a fish going by on the sidewalk. Stacy was with this kid, and we're all, that's him, that's the guy. You know, that's him.
Back in the early 80s, skateboarding was starting to die out, and it was becoming underground, and that's when I discovered punk rock. And some of my friends from the skate park, we got together and we started a punk rock band, and we named it The Faction.
First time I had seen him skate, I knew that I wanted to be around him because you want to be around the best, and he was considered the best. He was the best. He just had that drive to be the best, and he still has it. So I still want to be around him today because he gives me that drive, just to be able to reach your full potential, basically, in whatever you do.
You know, I've never been with a skater who's more widely recognized, or you know. I mean, I've been in airports, hotel lobbies, anywhere you can imagine someone recognizes him, someone you don't expect to recognize a pro skater, you know. Hey, you're Steve Caballero, you know.
Out of filming all the videos that we did, Animal Chin was the best video. Probably was the hardest one to film, but the funnest.
Cab's always been, from the start, one of my favorite skaters. I remember I rented Skateboard Madness at the video store around my house when I was just getting into skating. I was disappointed with the video because, you know, I didn't see any of the guys that I've been seeing in magazines in the video. But then here comes Caballero's section, and you know, he's this tall, just killing it. And I was just like, man, okay, this guy's been around. He's still around.
I'd say after the faction broke up, my musical taste changed a little bit, and I started getting into a little bit more mellower type of music, and that's when I formed the band Odd Man Out.
Even to this day, when I go skate, I think of Steve Caballero in my mind. I think of Stevie because of the amount of perseverance and amount of determination that he has to skate as long as he can. I mean, it's such a young sport still, yet this guy is one of the guys that I think is still pushing the limits.
It wasn't until the early 90s where I started the band Shovelhead, and that was a little bit more harder-edged band. And I think that's about the time when street skating was really popular.
This guy has been riding for the same company longer than I've been skateboarding. I mean, 18 years he's been sponsored by the same company. I think of commitment and integrity, you know, when I think of him. I also think of dedication. You know, he's dedicated to skateboarding. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for Stevie, for all that he's done, and he's been a big influence for all of us. And there's no one who skateboards to this day that cannot say that they have not been influenced by Steve Caballero.
Well, usually when I'm not skating, I like to do a little bit of drawing, buy model kits and paint them, and I especially like collecting action figure toys like Spawn, Nightmare Before Christmas, Toy Story, and I just picked up this guy right here. This is the Talking Turbo Man.
It's turbo time!
I like to play chess with my friend Donnie, and I especially like hanging out with my wife Sue.